What event divided your life into before and after? Becoming paralyzed. I got into an argument with my best friend while on vacation back in April and went out onto the balcony of my hotel room to call somebody and vent about it. I sat on the railing and ended up falling 3 stories onto the ground below me. Now I'm adjusting to life as a 23-year-old paralyzed chick in a wheelchair. When my then boyfriend of 6 years committed suicide in our living room and I found him. 7 years later I have a new life and married a wonderful man, but that thing won't ever disappear, and there's no single day that the horrible image doesn't appear in my mind for at least 1 second, some days longer, and regrets and questions run through my mind. Since then I have to deal with anxiety, which I have almost 100% controlled, but I will never be the same as before. Edit. I would like to thank you all a lot. Thank you for your comments and messages, it really means us a lot. And I wish you who are going through problems will be able to ask for help and work to get back on your feet. I promise it can get better. After this happened I was hopeless and thought anything mattered anymore, anything made sense, but then you work your way out of hell and things start to get better. And thanks for the gold, wow, it was not deserved at all. My mom's renal failure, which meant dialysis every 3 days and caused her to move with my grandma because my 2 siblings and I were in the school and couldn't properly care for her. We had to suddenly organize everything ourselves, and while my dad gave us money for the expenses, it still was quite a change. I was 15. My first seizure and epilepsy diagnosis. I was kicked out of the Air Force, temporarily had to leave my aerospace engineering studies. Caused me to meet the love of my life. Changed my perspective of the world. And a whole bunch of other things. My first non-minimum wage job. The difference a little bit of disposable income makes is insane. My first steady, full-time job. All of a sudden I could pay bills and save money and buy things all at the same time. Getting so sick in my 20s that I literally thought I was going to die several times. Over 60 days in the hospital in 1 year. 1100% changed from who I was before. Old friends are just that, old friends, because I'm not me anymore. In what ways did you change? I had to quit my job, change diet 100%, stop drinking alcohol entirely, different social habits, different things I do for fun, moved cities, but really though it was just the new perspective on life. Almost dying in slow motion really changes the way you look at the world and life in general. Makes all the problems I used to have seem so trivial and stupid. Best friend's suicide. I have a huge gap in my memory from when it happened, about 3 to 4 days. But nothing is the same afterwards. I visit the cemetery every month and still message him, but knowing that I'll never get a reply. Almost everything is B was still there when it happened, B wasn't there. My best friend also committed suicide. His death was the worst time of my life. I still visit him every so often, he's still my best friend. My spilt happened at an early age. My dad is from India and I was born in America. At the age of 5. My dad would ask if I wanted to go to India for a vacation. After a year I agreed to go with him. It was a fun couple of days till we reached his hometown. We got to his uncle's house and my dad told me to go say hi to my grandfather, whom I had met in the US before. After hugging my grandfather I look around to find my dad. I see him running. So I run after him through the house. When I got to the front, he had jumped in a taxi and rode off back to the US. I had no idea I would be staying in India for the next 3 years, going to boarding school in a country I didn't know any of the languages there. And it was my first experience with teachers being allowed to hit you. I always look at my life as life before India and life after. TLDR, my dad took me to India at the age of 6 and left without even saying goodbye. That's my before and after event. Edit, my mother is black and I inherited most of her looks. So I was basically a black kid stuck in India. The day last September when I found out my extremely loving, moral, kind, thoughtful, husband and best friend of 30 plus years had been an extremely active member of Ashley Madison for over 6 years and was living a second life I never knew about. It changed every aspect of me and every aspect of my life. I don't look anything the same. It changed my personality.